Hello, Carroll County. Welcome to the Carroll County 4-H and FFA Fair podcast, where we're preparing for the 2025 fair by sharing what the fair is, how it works, and inviting you to be a part. My name is Sam Chamelin, and I am a 4-H'er, parent, volunteer, and fair superintendent. So over the course of these podcasts, we'll be meeting with some special guests to share their experience of the fair and get you ready for this year. Now, if you hang around the fair long enough, you'll start to notice a group of young men and women going to and fro, often in green shirts and name tags, sometimes dressed up and in a sash, doing everything from setting up chairs, to running events, to handing out awards, to waving to the crowds in a fancy car at the parade. This, most likely, is a special group of 4-H'ers called the Carroll County 4-H Ambassadors. They really are a special group with responsibilities at the fair and even beyond the fair. And today, we've brought in two of their leaders, I guess we should say, Mr. and Miss 4-H, to discuss the Ambassador Program, their experience of fair, and what the Ambassador team means to them. So we welcome to the podcast Miss Carroll County 4-H, Natalie Castonguay, and Mr. Carroll County 4-H, Caleb Chamelin. And so welcome to you both. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me. And this is where you say, thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, no. So, all right, we'll try again. Welcome to you both. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So it's only fair in this room that we do a brief disclaimer. And if you're going, wait, that last name Chamelin sounds familiar, our listeners need to know, yes, Caleb is my son, and yes, we're really worried about Natalie in this conversation. Okay, but we're looking forward to it. It really is a joy to have you both. So Natalie, I'm going to ask you first, what is your favorite part of the fair?
So my favorite part of the fair is definitely the cake auction, because I love doing decorated cakes and flavor cakes more recently. So it's just like really fun to walk your cake. I think it's a unique experience for 4-H'ers of all age to walk their cakes, and the ambassador team cheering them on, clapping to encourage buyers to buy the cakes. It's just a unique experience that I think everybody shares.
There really is like a lot of energy around it, right?
Yeah.
And it's this really special night, and you get these, my favorite's always the little kids.
Yeah.
The very first time, they've never really been in public like that, and they've got their cakes and they're walking, there's energy and they're screaming. Yeah, it really is a ton of fun. What's your favorite thing to bake?
I would have said decorated cakes, but more recently it's flavor cakes. I just like experimenting with what flavors go together. So like last year, one of my favorite things was I did a root beer float cake.
Oh.
And the judges actually loved it and offered me a piece of my cake. It was really good. But I just like love experimenting with different flavors that go together and trying to think of what maybe the judges haven't seen before.
That is fantastic. And Caleb, what's your favorite part of fair?
It's a little harder to answer. I mean, for us, it's kind of a family tradition. I've been going since I can as long as I remember. But it's just a week long. I can see all my friends, and then get to do all the events. The pig show is obviously really important to me. And it's just kind of a staple of the fair, and it's always just a great week.
Yeah, a lot of energy. Yeah, whether you're up at the red building and what's going on up there, or you're down in the livestock building, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm going throughout the fair. And so let's get to know the two of you a little bit. And I'll let you know that in a previous podcast, Miss Becky called the ambassador team the elite 4-H'ers. Okay, so I'm talking to the elite of the elite 4-H'ers. And so Natalie, I'll ask you, share a little bit about yourself, kind of the projects that you carry in 4-H. Who are you and what do you care about?
So I mainly in 4-H I do baking, crafts, home environment, family life, photography, art, just about like most of the stuff in the red buildings, which I think most people don't realize is in 4-H. And a lot of what like 4-H is to me is like, I think there's a misconception around 4-H that it's just animals and you have to live on a farm, but then there's obviously if you go to the fair, there's so many projects in the red buildings. So that's really what I enjoy most about it. I am the vice president of Deer Park 4-H Club. So I just do, I like to do a lot in 4-H besides ambassadors, but the thing I love most about both of them is the amount of service projects that we do, because 4-H is more than just fair and doing crafts, showing animals. It's also about, the service to our communities and really just lending a helping hand.
That's really well said. Thank you. And you are quite a good leader in a lot of different ways. And so, and thank you for shouting out the Red Building kids. There's just a lot of wonderful things. I was just sharing, walk through that building, and I always walk out inspired. And so that's fantastic. And Caleb, share a little bit about you, who you are, the projects you carry, the things you care about.
I'm a little bit of the opposite spectrum. I'm really focused on the last end of things. I show a lot of pigs. I've been showing for 7 years now, a really long time. Then I'm into livestock judging, and I was on the state team, and Carroll County's team is the best in the state, so our program is really good. And then I do some rocketry. I've taught a lot of classes, clinics through rocketry or livestock judging or just pigs in general, and had the ability to talk to a lot of younger kids and kind of mentor a lot of little kids to improve their projects.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that. And yeah, we've spent a lot of time around livestock rings between the two of us, and the pig show is a special thing for you. Thank you for bringing up rocketry. Rocketry has made it into all 4 podcasts. I'm very proud of myself. That's fantastic. But no, and both of you are excellent leaders in terms of taking what you know and passing that on. And I think that's what makes both of you really special is, yeah, you have your projects, your things you love, the things you love to do, but ultimately it's about passing those things down. And both of you are just really exceptional at that. And that points to why you're here today. And if you're watching the video, you can see they've got their sashes on, and that sash, I still have mine. I know people still have theirs. Like, those sashes mean a lot to you. Because Mr. and Miss 4-H really is one of the highest honors that you can achieve in Carroll County 4-H. And so, first of all, just congratulations on making it. And so tell us a little bit about the process. Like, what is Mr. and Miss 4-H? What is the ambassador program, and kind of how do you get picked for it? Natalie, I'll let you start.
So starting with the ambassador program and kind of how you get into it, it's open when you become an intermediate 4-H'er, which is at age 11, and you have to go through an interview process, get letters of recommendation, and then an interview process. If you're a junior, you get interviewed by the seniors, so it's like a peer interview is what I like to think about it as. And seniors get interviewed by 2 older 4-H volunteers or just 2 older people to kind of trying to think of words.
Yeah, well, hit pause. It would give you just kind of think, maybe community members to give you
I was trying to think of what.
So I hand you, that's what I was thinking, so I'll hand that off to you. So, all right, we're going to come back in, just pick it up right there where you're at. In 3, 2, 1.
And community members, and we basically get judged, I guess, which is a loaded term, but about all of your capabilities as that you show and qualities of a leader. And they actually span so far. Some people, love public speaking, and that's what really shines about them. Some people, I like to interact with the younger 4-H members, so clovers, and that's what I use. That's what I shine in. But all people, basically just what's different about them is really what stands out to the interviewers, I think, on both ends. And for getting to Miss and Mr., it's the same process, except you're just judged a little more harshly, because you are actually the ones who will not only be, leading the younger members that we interview, but the other members that they interview that day. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, Mr. and Miss really kind of carry this idea of leader among leaders. And so sometimes having spent some time on the team developing those leadership skills is really important. Now, Caleb, one of the things Natalie didn't say, and maybe our listeners heard, was she didn't say I brought in all my ribbons or I showed all my accomplishments. And so that's not really what Mr. and Miss 4-H is about, is it?
No. So for this year, the senior ambassadors had to have we had to submit just a piece, and then we had to write a kind of an essay about that piece and how it showcases our leadership and how we've done. This year, I did. For those of you who don't know, I show with a little pin on either my vest or my show shirt. It's for my grandfather, and I kind of gave a whole story about how I helped my grandfather. And when I got the interview, they asked me a bunch of questions. I was able to go in depth about it and kind of show how you can correlate the things that help with my family compared to how I can use that for the ambassador team. That was a cool experience. And there's a whole lot of other things I can't bring to my mind, but they ask in the interview. But it's pretty in depth, and they really learn a lot about you, and you have to go in there prepared.
Yeah. And so the 4-H program, I mean, obviously it's a lot of projects, whether it's root beer float cakes or showing Duroc hogs, that's the place where we start. But ultimately, when we get to where you guys are at, older 4-Hers, at the back end of the program, it really is about leadership, citizenship, life skills, things like that. And so it's not about who wins the biggest ribbon. It's about developing. And you two are just such wonderful examples of that. In fact, you're such wonderful examples that I want to invite our listeners to kind of consider the interview a little bit. So I want you to tell me why the community members who pick them pick the other member. What's something special about the other person in the room today?
All right, I'll go first. Natalie got picked because she's a very good person with younger 4-Hers. She leads the Clover Camp and the Halloween party, and it's always a huge success. And kids just keep coming back, and they have a great time. And then during fair, you work in the ice cream stand a lot, and then all the indoor stuff. Everything's always very well run and coordinated beforehand, and everything just runs so smoothly. So I knew it was no doubt that she was going to Miss 4-H this year.
And Natalie?
I think definitely the reason Caleb got picked was because of, his, on top of his experience, just his maturity above many other leaders that we have in 4-H, and his ability to lead across the board in different scenarios. And he's just very responsible with everything he does. He's very, knows how to conduct himself, which is a big, and acts as a role model for a lot of the 4-Hers that we see, especially at fair.
No, thank you both. I know it's a tough question. But again, I want our listeners to understand kind of what it is that we're looking for, and the team that you two have to be in order to lead this ambassador team. And there's a lot that's going on. But before we get to responsibilities, I'm going to ask you what it is that you actually do inside and outside the fair. I know that Mr. and Miss 4-H has a really long history inside of Carroll County. In fact, for our listeners, if you go to the extension office and you go in, there are plaques that have the name of every Mr. and Miss on there. And Caleb's laughing. I'm not going to ask that question that you think I'm going to ask. Yeah. But you are stepping into a long line of people who have worn that sash. And so what does that mean to you to be a part of the program that folks have been a part of? And there is a sense of I was one of the ambassadors, you're one of the ambassadors. That's something that kind of holds the program together. So I wonder what that means to you all.
I think that's something that stands out, and it kind of relates to your question, is it's kind of a tangent, but my mom posted on Facebook when I got it, and one of the other previous Miss 4-H's commented, "Welcome to the family," and I think that's pretty much explains what it is. It's a big family of people that have dedicated so much of their time, so many years to the program, and I think it's just a big community of people that are all alike and all share the same motivation for the younger members of the 4-H community.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. Caleb, what does it mean to you?
Well, kind of is most of my family. I became the 9th Mr. or Miss in both sides of my family. I think 4 aunts and then some of your cousins.
Yeah, I had a couple cousins.
So I really didn't have a choice. It's really... I mean, when I was little, I always knew I wanted to get it. And then the past few years, I've been trying really hard to get it. And this year, I was lucky enough. But, yeah, it's just kind of you as a little kid, you look at those plaques and you kind of think, well, how cool would it be if my name was on it? And just kind of seeing how people who are on that plaque have impacted their community and the 4-H program, and how you want to be just like them.
Yeah, no, and that is something special. You're just wow, to be selected for the ambassador team. You look and you're wow, these people still care and are still passing it on, and that's a special thing. So when you guys get to fair, okay, because you're selected in April, yes, is when,
yeah.
Is that when I think that's when the program is. And so you get selected in April, you spend some time, putting some programs together, and we'll get to some of those programs. Caleb's already alluded to some of the things that you guys do. But what responsibilities do you have at the fair? So if people see you running around, got your sash on, or your green shirt, just what are some of the things folks will see you doing?
I think there's so many different things that we do during Fair Week. I honestly don't remember half of them because it's so busy. But we span from, like you said earlier, setting up chairs for events to even running things. Like the first thing that's coming to my mind is the Clover Small Pet Show, which is arguably one of the most chaotic events that you see at the fair. But
it's a good time though, but it is chaotic. But I see it from outside the ring. You got to be inside the ring managing it.
So a lot of what we do is kind of the behind the scenes work of events to make sure that they keep running smoothly. Like in cake auction, we're the ones moving the cakes, getting them ready to be walked. And for different events like Children's Day, we participate, we do face painting, and then we run one of the tables. So a lot of it is either like some of the events we're out interacting with 4-Hers, and other ones we're just doing the behind the scenes to make sure that the event runs exactly how we would like it, or close to how we would like it to. But we also do things like the ice cream booth, and some people will do the food stand, and it's just like stuff like that.
Now, I need to ask, because I keep hearing about this ice cream booth, and God bless you all who actually show up there, but they give you free ice cream. Like, it's not totally, you're not totally giving yourself a service here. I'm just making fun of you. But yeah, look, the ice cream booth, everybody ends up there, is fantastic ice cream. You should check it out. So, Caleb, but you have all these responsibilities. You can add some as well, but it's not like you've stopped your own 4-H activity. So all of that is going down while you're trying to get your own fair accomplished. So what has that experience been like for you? Like, what are some of the things you have to do alongside of all the things you got going on?
Yeah, so fair starts for us about a week beforehand. We have to set up the whole fair, and then we take in all the indoor entries Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we have to display them all the ambassadors display them. And then for ourselves, I show pigs, so I have to go back, feed my animals, walk them, take care of them, drive back to the fair, do all the fair stuff, then drive back and go feed everything, and while trying to make sure everything makes weight, ready to gain. So it's a lot. It's a big responsibility, but all the time it's a lot of fun. And then for the rest of the week on the ambassador team, we run the pedal pull contest, which is really good for little kids.
That's always a good time too.
Yeah.
It's down outside of Shipley Arena, right?
Yeah, so it should be down the front, right down the hill, and I think it's Saturday and Sunday.
Great.
Fair.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, you're walking around, you see it. It's worth stopping for 10 minutes. There's a great deal of energy around that. Parents and kids having a great time. But continue on.
And we have the parade, and then, kind of plateaus a little bit during fair, but we'll be there for the cake auction, and I'm probably missing out on some things. But we have a lot of responsibilities.
Now, in a parade, one of the things you get to do is you guys will ride in the front of the parade, and you get to pick a car. What are you riding in?
We are going to be in a purple convertible.
A purple convertible. All right.
Yeah, the theme is purple this year. We're both wearing purple in the purple car.
All right, there we go. All right, champions. All right, you're purple champions. I love it. So I'm looking forward to this convertible. So you guys have a lot of responsibilities, and in so many ways you do kind of become the face of the fair. Because you're running around, people recognize you. You're there, what seems like 24 hours a day. I know it's not, but it feels like more than that. And so folks will get to know you at the fair and see you doing things. And the ways that you guys and your team contribute is really important. But Ambassadors has a whole lot more to do with 4-H than just the fair. In fact, the fair is just kind of one chunk of a much bigger program. And so what are some of your favorite things that the Ambassador team is doing throughout the year to promote 4-H and to build the experience for younger kids?
I think the one thing that stands out to me after we do fair is that's when we do a lot of our service projects. We do a lot around Thanksgiving. We do a canned food drive, and we've actually in recent years spread it out to the clubs as well, to get even a bigger turnout for it. And we do give a prize of the first spot behind ambassadors in the parade during Fair Week, which I think is a big motivation. But it's just bringing everyone together, both from the ambassador team and from all of the clubs, because all of us obviously are in our own clubs, and bringing them all together and connecting them is like we strive to do that during service projects, and it just helps the community in even bigger, like in bigger numbers.
So I just want to make sure our listeners understand that. So it's not like Ambassadors is not like just another 4-H club that you attend. Like, you're really trying to bring together, I think Miss Becky said 35 clubs to contribute together to something much bigger than yourself. So do I have that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so moving all those volunteers and all those kids is a big task. But you guys have done a wonderful job of really elevating that and making those what started as small projects really pop in a meaningful way. And yeah, I know it's a great passion of yours. So that's really special. Caleb, what are some of the things you enjoy doing outside of the fair?
I would say the ambassador team as a whole, and kind of Carroll County is unique in this instance. Like, we're really good at kind of bringing younger 4-Hers up into the program. It's like our Clover Camp, which Natalie and Charlotte and Brent, I'll give you a shout out. You guys do very well running Clover Camp for our 6 to 8 year olds, and I've never seen a kid not come back. Every kid that goes to Clover Camp, they stay in the program, and they even more. They just do more in the program after they've started it. And then we have our Halloween party in the fall for our Clovers, and they love it. It's always a great time, and we have a great group of little kids, and hopefully they can hopefully evolve and be good leaders in the future.
And so you guys are learning leadership skills while you're leading, which certainly speaks to 4-H. Learn by doing. So we're going to pitch into the deep end and figure out some things, and you guys continue to grow the program and make it better. One of the things we've talked a little bit about in other podcasts is the junior ambassadors, and Natalie, you mentioned it a little bit. I just want to ask your experience about managing kids that are a little closer to you in age. Just what's that experience like, and what are some of the things that junior ambassadors do?
I'd say they're the workhorses of the ambassador team. We kind of just stand around and kind of coordinate everything.
You're just a pretty face, huh?
Yeah, maybe this year, but when I was a junior, man, I never stopped moving. We just kept working and working and working, and they never complain. They love doing it. We had a lot of juniors try out this year for the ambassador team, and we can only take a select few, but we have a good team this year, and we're hopefully it's going to be a good fair.
Yeah, the juniors?
It's definitely different because of so many years I've either been a junior or a senior, and again focused a lot of my time on the Clovers, but actually leading the juniors, we're leading people from the age of 11 to 18. So it's definitely a unique experience of, finding each other's strengths to help everybody during Fair Week, especially. I think that's a lot of what it...
And being a junior is so much fun because you really are the workhorse, but like all of a sudden you discover I've got responsibilities. Like, if the chairs don't get set up, this event doesn't happen. If we don't run this thing down there, it gets in the way. And so the junior ambassador program also is a great way to kind of get your toe in the ambassador program and figure out what leadership looks like and what service looks like. And you both served as juniors in your own way, right? Mm-hmm. So you're a great example of what it looks like to come up through that program. So, well, very good. Well, I hope our listeners understand a little bit more about the ambassador program and how it's far more than just, she made a good cake and he had a good pig and therefore they're Mr. and Miss, that understand that it really is about developing life skills. And thank you so much for what you contribute to the 4-H program. And thank you so much for the work that you're about to put in at Fair. I know things are getting ramped up. Putting recipes together, getting your projects together, hoping to God that pigs figure out how to eat in this heat. There's a lot going on, and so our best wishes to you both, and hope that it's a wonderful fair for you. But here at the end, want to leave you with one final question. You two are experts on the fair in a way that a lot of people aren't. So what is one thing that you insist people check out at the fair this year? One thing not to miss.
I would say this year this is the first year that we have a ride, or 2 rides at the fair, I believe. So if you guys have kids, you want to bring them to the fair, we have rides, and then you can see all the animals, the shows, and then obviously all the cool exhibits in the red building. Yeah,
did I know about the rides?
It's if I have it right, it's like a bumblebee ride for smaller kids, but this is a first for this fair, so it should be good.
Yeah, Rise is a big deal for us. Yeah. So, okay, I'm glad you said that. I'd totally forgotten about that. So, yeah, little kid's going to have a chance to have a good time. Natalie, what's one thing not to miss?
I think it's a hard decision between 2. I'm stuck between the red buildings and the ice cream booth because I do personally believe that we have the best ice cream at the fair. I don't know if it's the Fair Week heat that really makes it taste good, but also the red buildings because I think a lot of 4-Hers that just do red buildings don't get recognized enough for what they do and the hard work that gets put in, because obviously livestock, it takes all year to get them, but many activities, I mean, I put 20 plus hours into, and most people just walk by and are like, oh, whatever, and they go down to Shipley. So I think definitely looking all throughout the red buildings to see all the different projects that kids are doing.
Yeah. No, I love it. And like I said, I am inspired every time I go through there. I'm like, oh, I see this. I could do that. I've never tried that. And you realize it's an 8 to 10-year-old kid who's like inspired me to like try something. And so, and you're right, the amount of work that goes into those projects, often just as much as anywhere else. And so, but there is something about the ice cream at the end of the day, and not just the ice cream, but make sure you hit up all the food. The meat is fantastic. All right, let's see. There's snowballs. There's all kinds. Peach sundaes. Yes. What else? What else do folks need to eat? I feel like
Mr. Roy's fries.
Mr. Roy's fries. Yeah. So you're going to eat good, and you're going to be inspired, and you're going to get a chance to hang out with our ambassadors. So we look forward to seeing you at your fair. Well, hey, Mr. and Miss 4-H, it's been an honor to hang out with you guys. Thanks so much for coming in, and best of luck at the fair to you both. Look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you.
Be sure to tune in to cable channel HD 1072 and channel 19 for live streaming coverage of the fair. You can also see it live on YouTube or on our website at carrollmediacenter.org.